Trump makes historic UAE visit as first president in nearly 20 years. As Trump arrived right off the tarmac, again, you're just seeing these royal welcomes.
Why do these countries that are very strongly in opposition of Israel, and Trump has supported Israel, why are they treating him this way? Like, is this like a I'm trying to win you over thing? We're the good guys? Or like, what the is actually going on here? Because it seems like the Netanyahu-Trump is starting to get some friction. What do you think here is going on here?
You know, if I had an interest in the area and I was a representative of one of these countries, or if I was a leader of one of these countries, I would take any opportunity I got to get closer to America and to get closer to America between Israel and America.
What is up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, and this is the show for the realists. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society, and welcome to Gersh Darn Reality. DJ.
With that.
Oh, we got CTI, right? Okay. Andy and DJ.
Cruise the mother-loving internet.
All right.
Yep.
What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
We're just going to get right into it today. Don't forget to pay the fee, all right? We put a lot of time and effort in the show. We don't pump your ears full of worthless ads. So do us a solid, man, and help us grow the show. Tell people about it. Post about it. Do whatever you got to do.
Yep.
Drag them to your television and make them shove their face in it.
Do some barbecues. Play it in the background.
Yeah, there you go. They're gonna say, "Who's this guy? He sounds handsome."
Who's that on that name? I was gonna say it's fine. It's fine.
So today we have a very special guest.
Is he special though? Like, is it because he's a regular?
He's special because he is a regular.
He's a regular.
Yeah. Mr. Ian Smith,
Good
one of America's most wanted.
Formerly one of America's most wanted.
Yeah. Oh man, what's up, bro?
Not too much, man. Good to be back.
Yeah.
Feels like it's been a while since I've been at HQ.
It has been a while.
It has been a minute.
Yeah.
What's going on? You hiding from us?
Yeah. Staying busy, enjoying the Florida heat during the summer. You know,
how is Florida?
Florida's good.
Is it?
Florida's good.
You liking it?
Yeah. Except I may have to start being active in politics again because they're demolishing all of beautiful Florida and making golf courses out of it. So,
oh, that's nice.
Looks like I'm going to be a thorn in somebody's side again.
Well, you know, that's what we do.
Hopefully, it won't be the governor this time. Maybe somebody a little less powerful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Florida's a little bit more in line with what we all believe here. So maybe they'd be a little more receptive to it.
It
sounds like you went to the left, man. You joined the Green Party?
Yeah. If I criticize anything that the right does, it automatically means that I'm a purple-haired Democrat. It's actually...
I'm aware.
I shaved my head and dyed it purple.
Yeah.
But you just can't see it right now.
I see glitter in the beard. I see it.
Is that lipstick?
I also go by he, him now. So just in case anybody wants to address me in the third person.
Oh, man.
Yeah, people.
Well, dude, you know, we got enough golf courses.
Yes,
let's be real.
We do.
Florida does have some amazing golf courses, but I was just talking to my buddy who owns the beer distributor for Anheuser-Busch down in Tallahassee, Trip, and we were talking about how beautiful it is over there, man.
Just North Florida especially. Yeah. It's
so
just
good.
Beautiful. We'd like to keep it that way. That's the only complaint I have.
Yeah.
Other than homeowners insurance, but you know, if it was Jersey, it would be property taxes.
Yeah. It's one or the other, man. They're going to get it.
Oh, they're definitely going to get it.
Yeah. Until we decide to change that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's coming down the pipe, man. I feel like we're going to see something. Just, I don't know.
Well, enough people get sick and tired, you know.
I think if people really sat down and analyzed, like, you know, for
how
years
much they just get screwed,
bro. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like for years,
put a dollar figure on how much you get screwed on a yearly basis.
I think for me, it woke me up when I started realizing that, like, how much time it takes to pay the government what they take from us, and when you add it all up, dude, we work more months out of the year than we do for ourselves.
Essentially, if you add in all of the taxes along the way with purchasing and this and that, and transfer of goods and everything like that, and business taxes,
yeah, man. And when you think about it like that, everybody's like, man, I pay too much taxes. But like, dude, it's not too much. It's like you work for them.
Yeah.
And that's not the point of government.
You get to keep too little, I think, is the better way of looking at it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, man, how can you say we live in a free country if that's the case? Like, why are we all working as much as we do, as hard as we do, and trying to create the American dream, which is what we're promised? Well, to just support the government, man. Like,
then,
it just,
if I went into any major city and it was, spotless and there was no crime and I could leave my car,
it'd be more palatable.
Yeah, I maybe I wouldn't mind it as much. Or if the children of this country were getting good educations and there was no homelessness and we had flying cars and bullet trains and all that sort of stuff, I don't think I'd mind nearly as much as just watching it all get shipped in pallets overseas.
Yeah.
While everything else falls apart and they just continue to tax more to make things worse.
It's absurd, bro. It's absurd. It's something that really needs to get corrected, man. Like, people don't talk enough about it. We're too busy arguing about all these other things.
Shit.
Yeah, bro. And I think that's the point. I think the point is to stir up shit. So we argue about all these other things and we don't realize that thing as a whole.
The one big thing that affects all of us, no matter where you fall ideologically, is that you get screwed by the government.
It's the most damaging part of society, bro. It's financial oppression.
Yeah, well, people look at it as like, oh, I can't get ahead, but look at the idea of getting ahead generationally.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's very little wealth that gets transferred from generation to generation, and that's the product of being financially strangled so that people reach the end of their lives and they have very little, if anything, left.
And whatever is left, the government takes 65% of it.
And then they get a cut of whatever is left anyway.
It's crazy, dude.
Even if it's property or something like that, and the average person has no idea how to even navigate that situation, so they just wind up looking at it like, oh, it's free money.
Yeah.
I might as well just take what I can get. But yeah, I mean, that's why people can't get ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's get into some cruising.
Cool.
Yeah. Before we get to our headlines, though, did you guys see Theo Von got into a little altercation in Nashville?
I did see that.
You saw it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
You saw it? Okay. Well, let's talk about it.
Little throat push.
Yeah, a little.
Never hurt nobody.
No,
it's simple. You know what I'm saying? Just a little reminder.
Hey, sometimes you got to establish boundaries, man.
Dude, you have to,
bro.
Man.
What is that with people, man?
Yeah.
What is that?
People don't.
There's no boundaries anymore at all.
Yeah, I think that's like a result of like the internet. You know what I mean? Like social media and just feeling like you have access to somebody 24/7, so you see them and
like they serve you.
People forget manners.
Like, bro. You have, and it's. I guess you understand it from somebody's perspective. Like, you're a fan, you support this person. They wouldn't be who they were if they didn't have the fans. But it's like I don't work for you 24/7 for your entertainment.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, and they also forget too. Like,
and if I tell you to go away, go away.
They forget too. Like, that's still a person. You know what I'm saying? It's still a human being, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not this.
The other thing people do, bro, is they feel entitled to all the details of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there's shit that people aren't sharing on the internet, there's probably a really good reason for it, and it's probably because they don't really want to share that with you.
Yeah, personal.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, podcast with Theo Von, Grabs fan. Everybody's a podcaster.
I mean, I think it's
that's a universal term.
Yeah, but I think it's like a term of endearment now. I think it's like above comedian or above entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Business owner.
Yeah. It's above billionaire entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying?
Podcaster.
Yeah.
Frisella.
It's only New York Post too, bro. Like, they call everybody a podcaster.
Yeah, well, they must think highly of podcasting.
Yeah, they call Oprah Winfrey a podcaster before.
Yeah, Big Mike one too, right?
Yeah, Big Mike podcast. Yeah, I mean, Big Mike's a podcaster now.
Not former second male.
Second gentleman.
Yeah.
Comedian, popular podcast with Theo Von wasn't joking when he grabbed a man by the throat who was reportedly harassing him at a Nashville bar. In a wild confrontation caught on video. In the footage obtained by TMZ, a man holding a bouquet of golden balloons approaches Von, who's 40. Damn, Von's 45.
What's wrong with that?
I mean, no, nothing's wrong. I just
Motherfucker.
didn't think he was. I didn't think he was of that age.
Well, you have to be of that age to be that funny. That's why you ain't.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, the cutoff is like 38.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You don't have enough
Coincidentally,
life
38.
perspective. That's why your jokes don't land.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yep.
That's what it is. Yeah. Damn. No, I mean, he looks younger. I thought he was like 33 maybe. You know,
I didn't know he was 45.
Yeah, that's up there.
Looking good. Looking
No,
good. He's aging well.
That's right. I am.
Good old. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, but yeah, so he was the man can be seen grabbing the comic's shoulder as he's standing with a group of friends by the bar. The two men then exchange words, which are inaudible in the video, before the past weekend podcast host loses his cool and lunges at the man. Let's check the clip out. Real quick, I could tell by the start of this that dude's a douchebag from the shirt he's wearing.
Yeah, he just looks annoying, dude.
Like that. Listen, I've worked bar security. That guy is like,
I know.
That dude is in every bar everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's a douchebag.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's the shirt.
Yeah.
He wants to hug everybody that he doesn't know,
Bro.
and tell
Oh,
you
and he
you're his
knows
bro
everybody,
and hang
bro.
on your shoulder.
Dude,
And
I can smell the vodka tonic right now. That's what he drinks too. I can smell it. That's a shirt. God, man. All right, here we go.
Jason, drop the fucking balloons.
he gave him 2 warnings, man. You
Yeah.
saw it, and there's probably more. Of course, in that video, you're not going to see the 12
Full
other
context,
times he
yeah.
tapped his shoulder and tried to walk in.
Bro.
Gave the guy 2 warnings, give him a throat shove, end of story. He did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I think you should have more.
Yeah, he should have pushed him harder.
Yeah.
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 No,
that's a
but
dude. That's a dude who watched one of his comedy specials or went to one of his things, and he thinks because of that he's entitled to
24-hour access. Yeah.
Well, he probably said the golden phrase too. I don't want to suck your dick like everybody does.
no shit, bro.
Probably what he started off with.
Yeah, and then he plays the victim after he gets fucking handled the proper way.
Well, it's funny you say that because he absolutely did. Nashville police confirmed that they received a misdemeanor assault complaint at the bar on May 4th, but investigators decided to take no further action. Well, and that's good to see.
What a bitch. For real, dude. What a bitch.
Sad, man.
Yeah.
It's sad. Yeah, all right, man.
Good for Theo, man.
Yeah, good for I like it.
Stand your ground, dude.
Bro, listen, it's like I said on the last show. Like, we need to go back to punching people in the face.
Absolutely.
There's no boundaries anymore. We get all these little dudes and weirdos and people who, are way out of line of society. And because they've never been punched in the mouth, like I have plenty of times, and by the way, every time, guess what? I deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you been punched in the mouth?
Plenty.
Did you deserve it?
Every single one of them.
What about you?
Yep.
Did you deserve it?
Yep.
Oh, see, you're lying. You think it's racism. All right. But the point is,
No, I've punched a lot of people in the face.
Yeah, well,
they deserved it.
they deserved
deserved
dude, that's real shit. Every dude I ever had a punch in the face, they deserved it too.
They deserved
And
it.
you know what happens after a dude punches another dude in the face? Usually, they end up respecting each other.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what, bro?
Yeah.
I was out of line.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That is boundaries.
I shouldn't have bought this
Yeah.
shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we don't have boundaries, and it's because people have no fear. And I grew up in a different era where I have a natural understanding that if I say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, and it really doesn't matter if the dude's bigger or smaller than me, if the guy's around my age and I say the wrong thing, I might get punched in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that keeps everybody in line because nobody likes to get punched in the mouth.
Mm-mm.
One of my good friends, the author Jack Donovan, I gave you that book, The Way of Men.
Yeah, yeah.
In there, one of the chapters he writes is called "Violence is Golden," and the chapter goes on to explain that violence is the universal language, and that if you can only ask somebody so many times to stop bothering you, stop doing something to you, but everybody understands a punch in the face, or in this case, a little throat shove.
It's the truth.
He right after that. It didn't appear like he was going back any
right,
further.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, no, please get away. Thanks for your support. I'm with friends right now. All of these things didn't work, but He understood violence, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Dude, I also think there is, people got to learn their manners, right? Like when you see someone like that you recognize and they're out kind of with their family or their friends or whatever, dude, it's okay. It's usually okay to go up and say, hey, man, love your shit. Hey, dude, thanks for what you're doing. Hey,
quick.
This, that, the other. But when you hijack them for 5, 10, 20 minutes, that's wrong. That's not something that people should be doing. And that comes off as very disrespectful. You know what I'm saying?
Just be cool, man.
Yeah. Like, dude,
Cool.
like,
That would solve a lot of it. Like, just chill out, man.
Yeah,
Like, maybe
just
you'll get
be
a fist
cool.
bump later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if he sees you, give him a what's up, man,
bro,
and give him a dap, man. He'll respect you so much more for that.
You know how many times
he would have probably called you over,
dude?
You know,
I was just gonna say, you know how many times I've had people come up to me in public for real, and I'm with people or whatever, and they're cool, and I'll buy the fucking dinner, bro, and I'll go over afterwards and say, hey, man, it's sorry to get to talk to you that much, but I was doing, and they're always cool. Like, dude, being cool gets you a long way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Being
like,
not cool gives you a throat shove.
yeah, and yeah, my opinion.
Yeah, but anybody with notoriety will appreciate the fact that you wanted to acknowledge them,
Yeah.
but that you respected their time very quickly.
Yes.
Hey, I love your stuff, man. Keep
Yeah.
rocking. Boom, fist bump out of the way.
Bro, sometimes
he might buy you a drink later.
That's what,
honestly.
or sometimes they might say, the guy run up, be like, hey, man, come here.
Yeah, come here. What's your name?
Right, exactly.
Because you at least give somebody the option.
Yeah.
During all the COVID stuff, I got a little bit of experience with that where, sometimes I'd be 20 minutes late.
Yeah.
I'd be in the airport missing a flight because somebody means well, but they don't understand that, hey, I have personal time too, and I'm allowed to have it. And
Yeah.
I have a flight that boards in 15 minutes, and I can't hear every detail of your life.
Yeah, they're already about to strip search me and shit. So I really
Dude, I've already been violated enough times.
When I was younger, dude, I used to think people were douchebags when they would brush you off or like do that stuff. And then I got to experience a little bit of it on the other side, and I'm like, holy dude.
I
like,
get it.
Yeah, like it made me respect. Like, I just think it's a lack of perspective what that's like.
It is
because it's not like with Theo Vaughn, as famous as he is, that happens to him 30 times a day.
Anywhere he goes,
Yeah.
he's extremely recognizable.
Yeah,
And yeah, I mean, you can't even go to the grocery store in peace.
no, Yeah.
There probably hasn't been a moment where he's done something simple like that by himself because it's
yeah, and you can tell that's what he's trying to do, bro.
Yeah,
He's just trying to chill at a bar, man. Like, and I guess
probably
that's
somebody's birthday or something.
And I guess that's the trade you make, for the fame and whatever. But man, like, it's still
people are still human, man.
yeah, bro.
You know,
Yeah.
you could just want to enjoy some time. It could be somebody's birthday party who he hasn't seen in a long time, and you got some guy yamming in your ear for 30 minutes when you haven't seen your buddy, in 5 years, and you just got some time because you've been working and he's been working and it's been so long, and now you got this guy just yapping.
Wearing this ridiculous shirt.
Yeah.
Bro, I've seen that shirt 1,000
Yeah.
times.
Well, I mean, who's that dude he's with?
Which one? The one in the back here?
I think she plays for the NFL, or he plays for the NFL.
This guy?
No, that other dude.
This?
That's your type, ain't it?
Come on, man. Don't indict me like that.
We just had this conversation before the
Come
show.
on, man.
DJ's about that snow bunny.
Come on, man. Oh, man.
All right.
Yep.
Enough.
Hashtag.
Physical violence is a good thing.
Yep. Necessary.
Yes.
Yep. Hashtag free.
If I deserve to be
Theo.
punched in the face, please punch me. I will probably stop and wonder if I deserved it. And if I didn't, I'll probably punch you back.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
We'll be cool afterwards.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Bro, there's something good about being punched in the face. Like, it kind of makes you remember, like, oh,
Makes you feel alive.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather not do it on a regular basis.
Not a regular thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet, man. Well, guys, let's get into our cruise for real. Guys, if you want to see any of these pictures, articles, links, videos, go to andyfrisella.com. You guys can find that all there. Or come check us out on the YouTube. You guys can come follow along these headlines as we progress in the show. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, headline number one. Trump's still in the Middle East doing a little tour. There is a lot that is coming out in these past couple of days that he's been over there, man. A lot of good things for the country, to be real. So let's talk about that. Trump makes historic UAE visit as first president in nearly 20 years. So he's over there. This is his final stop on the Middle East tour. So he arrived at the United Arab Emirates for his final stop in the Middle East this week. That in the visit that marked the first time a U.S. president has traveled to the nation in nearly 20 years following President George W. Bush's trip in 2008. So he's over there. A lot of stuff is happening. Back in March, UAE pledged $1.4 trillion to the United States economy over the next decade through AI infrastructure, semiconductor, energy, and American manufacturing initiatives, including a plan to nearly double U.S. aluminum production by investing in a new smelter for the first time in 35 years. They also spent $1.4 billion on the CH-47 Chinook helicopters and F-16 fighter jet parts to Abu Dhabi. There's a lot, man, like a lot of good stuff. I got a clip here. So as Air Force One is flying into the UAE, this was the scene. He's being escorted by UAE fighter jets. Those are F-16s. It's pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty sweet.
Pretty badass.
Pretty badass.
That's their F-16s that we sold them.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean,
So there are F-16s.
Which makes it even cooler. Yeah.
Still are. They're flying pretty good, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty decent formation.
Yeah.
Then as Trump arrived right off the tarmac, again, you're just seeing these royal welcomes, man. Like I've never seen it for any other significant world leader, global front leader to be received like this. But this is Trump coming off the airplane. Let's check this one out.
He's got him laughing.
Yeah, already.
Yeah.
Already. And then the parade processional into their meeting place was also captured on clip. I mean, they're coming out with the full shebang, man. Camels, horses, you name it. I guess that's what they patrol.
Big Mac camel burgers.
Mm-hmm. That's what they patrol with. Let's check.
I want to try one of them camel burgers, bro.
You ever had a camel burger?
Nah, I would try one though.
Yeah, I would
Try
too.
camel?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that shit would make you
I had a
sick,
horse
though.
sandwich one time.
Oh, Andy.
Yeah. In Europe, dude, that's a thing. Like
Yeah,
horse
it's a
meat's a
delicacy
thing.
over there.
I don't know if it's a delicacy, but I mean, they serve it.
Yeah, no. Nay.
Nay.
This is the processional video. Let's check this out real quick. Bro, look how clean it looks over there.
Yes. That's why I'm moving there. Our podcast HQ is going to be in Dubai.
Yeah, let's do it.
Nobody can steal our shit or they get their heads cut off. I just like the way that the Arabs deal with shit, bro.
Bro, they handle shit
I like it.
very real.
I like it, man. Don't fuck around. You don't have to worry about it. So
Man.
what are we thinking here?
As far as what?
Well, what else do you got?
Yeah, I mean, just other stuff. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just that the reception, other deals. Real quick, I wanted to bring up one of your favorite people who decided to hop in on the news cycle. Hillary Clinton decided to jump in, and she's getting destroyed.
Yeah, because people hate her.
She's getting destroyed. Yeah, she's getting slammed for accusing Trump of pay for play over Qatar's luxury jet.
Yeah,
Have you seen this?
yeah. Like,
That's ironic.
yeah, no shit.
That's just like you know when like you're wrong on something and sometimes you just like you've got a skeleton in your closet so you choose not to like comment on something because it's like
Just don't comment.
It's too close to home.
yeah. It's like,
Just let that go, man.
I'm not gonna add my 2 cents on this because there's plenty of bullets in the chamber for me, and that's that's this for her.
At this point, I feel like it's not her. It's whoever's handling her social media. Right. And like at this point, I feel like it's almost like intentional. Like they're intentionally trying to destroy her credibility. Because like, why would you post this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't post that.
What'd she post?
So she got on Twitter because Qatar is donating a jet to replace Air Force One because Boeing's taking their sweet time in producing a new Air Force One. They're giving them a brand new Boeing 747 free of charge. Okay. Until the new Air Force One.
Yeah, it's like a loaner.
Yeah, I mean, we paid for it. I mean, fuck, if you think about it, Jesus.
I'm sure in some way we paid for it.
So she decided to tweet this out.
No shit, dude.
Yeah, she decided to tweet this out from a personal account, Hillary Clinton's personal account. No one gives someone a $400 million jet for free without expecting anything in return.
Yeah, just like nobody gives $1 billion to Ukraine without accepting anything in return, or funnels out for the last 100 days of their presidential term $100 billion that doesn't ever get reported into NGOs for their causes. Mm-hmm. So let's shut the fuck up, Hillary, you little turd.
Well, it's also interesting because I mean,
bro, why is she
closer to home than that, bro? Like, and this is what she's been getting destroyed for. Qatar gave the Clinton Foundation $1 million gift while Hillary Clinton was U.S. Secretary of State without informing the State Department, even though she had promised to let the agency review new or significantly increased support from foreign governments.
Well, I mean,
so that was fine.
It's okay.
She's just mad she only got $1 million.
Yeah, right.
That's clearly what the thing is here. It's not about principles.
They didn't
It's
give me
about
that
the fact
much.
that she didn't get a 747.
Bro, how are these people not in jail? Like, how are all these people not arrested in jail? Like, how is Hillary Clinton even allowed to tweet?
The system is designed to protect them. And they're very comfortable in that position because they haven't. Like, what's the last politician that was held accountable?
I can't tell you. That's the point.
Yeah,
right.
Well, that's the thing. The only ones that get held accountable are the ones that refuse to go with play the game. Like,
yeah, that's
there was
true.
that Mendez guy. They caught the gold bars in his closet and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, he was playing the game.
Yeah.
And then he got out of line. So now you're in jail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, now
like,
he's in jail. Yeah,
that's it.
He's going to jail.
That's it. But like nobody that's actually doing the bad shit, bro, like they're still playing the game. They're playing the game. So they're fine. They're fine. It's crazy. This dude looks pretty cool though.
He looks like Ali G.
Who is that?
So I'm assuming. I mean, if he's sitting next to Marco Rubio, I would assume that that's their equivalent. So like the Department of State secretary.
Why do we think? Now, Ian, you got a pretty good take on this, I think, or you will. But why do these countries that are very strongly in opposition of Israel, and Trump has supported Israel? Why are they treating him this way? Like, is this like a I'm trying to win you over thing? We're the good guys? Or like, what the is actually going on here? Because, I don't know. It seems like the Netanyahu-Trump is starting to get some friction, and these dudes are pouring in the sugar, you know what I'm saying?
Jets, the camels.
Yeah. So like, what?
Give them McDonald's.
What do you see? What do you think here is going on here?
If I had an interest in the area and I was a representative of one of these countries, or if I was a leader of one of these countries, I would take any opportunity I got to get closer to America and to get closer to America between Israel and America. Mm-hmm. Middle Eastern policy, as far as the United States has gone for decades now, has been dominated essentially by what Israel wants. And we pretty much do everything we want or that they want. What Netanyahu was in front of Congress when we went for the weapons of mass destruction that weren't there, and he urged us that we had to do that. And that was a very big piece of the equation when we went in. So, and that comes with that,
which
that
was a lie.
Was
Complete
a bold-faced
Right.
lie. That wasn't mistaken intelligence. That was no intelligence. They said that knowing that America would react to that. And there's plenty of other examples, so I think that maybe, at least if I was in that position and I saw that the things that have been happening between Trump and Netanyahu, that there is some friction, I would jump in on that.
Yeah.
because it's your only chance of some breathing room, because no matter what these countries do, if America backs what Israel wants, that's what happens in the region.
Yeah.
Whether that be peacefully or not so peacefully. We've stormed in at Israel's request every step of the way, so much so that it's only our troops who do it.
Yeah.
And if I was one of these guys in the area, I don't know the dynamics of all of these countries involved, but that would be my play. I would try to get some breathing room so that, because it's an area with a lot of money, it's an area with a lot of interest, and if you're trying to run a country and you're being sort of bullied by the next door neighbor who's got the big brother, with the F-16s, and I see them fighting, I would do that. I think that would be.
Yeah, it does seem like the timing's right for them to do that.
Yeah.
They're playing to his ego. They're playing to Trump's ego for sure. I mean,
and I think part of it.
Shit.
Yeah. Oh, he absolutely
loves
does. He absolutely does. Any man that wields power is going to have an ego that can be tickled.
Yeah, it's required to even be in the position.
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
does. Right. And that's not. I don't think that's inherently a bad characteristic. That just comes with the territory.
It's required.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not only do they potentially see that there's some wiggle room in the Israel relation, but this area has been just a hotbed for disaster, and like Trump, hate Trump, indifferent on Trump, he does have the ability to kind of bring people to the table, so maybe not even just to drive a wedge, but just saying, hey, we're here and we want to be friends, to show that the warm welcomes, all that stuff, that shows a certain amount of respect, and he'll remember stuff like that.
Yeah.
He remembers people who slight him.
Mm-hmm.
He's, from everything that I've heard, I've only met him, once or twice, but he remembers those things, and he'll play nice in public. But any powerful man is going to make sure that anybody who steps on his toes is going to feel the weight of the wrath. So, yeah, I think I would do it.
Yeah,
and it just seems like a pretty straightforward play.
What do you think? On Monday or Tuesday show, I was talking about how I feel like our media here, because it is so heavily influenced by Israel, which is just a fact, okay? You can't argue it.
Some people will.
Well, they can't. I mean, they can argue it, but
they can try.
They're wrong.
They won't make a
logical
argument.
You cannot. Look, it's just a fact, and trying to argue it makes you look like you're trying to hide something. Like, it's a fact, okay? So I personally feel like a lot of the Arab countries and the Arab people have been misrepresented in our media for a very long time.
Greatly so.
You feel that way?
This is like what we're watching right now over the past year or so is the exact same play of the Islamophobia that spread after 9/11, and that was essentially weaponized against the American public. It's another fear tactic. Are there radical Muslims in the world? Sure, absolutely. There are radical everybody in the world.
Right.
But that's not representative of most Muslim people.
I agree.
What we see is all of the hoodlums who come as refugees, but these aren't real refugees. These are just young military-aged men. You look at the refugees that just came over from South Africa. That's what real refugees look like. Families, men who want to work, not just young military-aged men from other countries who
expecting a handout,
who are funneled in by NGOs. Right. So they purposely misrepresent that aspect of Muslim culture in America, and that is a horrible. What we're dealing with in some of these places where there's huge Muslim populations of refugees are hugely problematic, and you see it all throughout Europe and in England. England's been dealing with it for 20 years longer than we have, but that's not the bulk of Islam in any way, shape, or form. And the media used that in 2001, in going into Afghanistan, going into Iraq, going into all the rest of the Middle East. It was all based on the fear of radical Islam.
Yeah.
It's no different than COVID. It's this faceless, shapeless enemy that can never be defeated or pointed out. The definition can always change. It's like this specter.
Well, they were creating it as they went too. I mean, you go into communities and destroy those communities, that hates the fucking hate that you're saying exists.
Well,
and
dude,
they'll come back and write the angry kid whose father you blew up a check for weapons.
Exactly, that's what I'm
like
saying.
not only are they creating the hatred, but they're dumping the fuel on the fire
right.
too. You know,
It's very similar to what they do just here in the United States between black and white people.
it's
Only it's on a global scale.
yeah, it's the same play.
And you know what? You know why? Because they understand that if Muslims and Americans or Christians ever actually got along that and identified who's creating the divide and the problems, there'd be a big problem.
Yeah. You know, I grew up, you know, around Muslim families, and, you know, I learned very early on that they had a tremendous amount of respect for Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they mention Jesus Christ, they say, peace be upon him, which is one of the highest honors that you can give, you know. So there's a tremendous amount of respect built into that religion for Christianity. It's not necessarily at odds. It's the extremist things, but you look at who funds these extremists, and it's no different than the bricks being dropped off during the Summer of Love for BLM.
Right.
You know,
Right.
very, very little
Same
of it
thing.
is truly organic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, instead of just bricks, it's pallets of cash, you know, and gold bars like they recovered in Iraq.
Right.
You know, those are
You mean the ones-
those are actually better than bricks.
You mean the ones that Ice Cube got?
Yeah.
That's a great
With
movie.
the convertible Lexus?
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
That's a good
That
movie.
is a good movie.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie, man.
What's
Yeah.
that? What's the name of that movie?
Isn't that Triple X?
No, that's not Triple X.
Oh.
I don't remember the name, but Triple X is like a superhero.
Right.
Ice Cube's got like 50 movies now.
Yeah.
He really went.
He became the funny dad guy.
Yeah. He
I
stepped
liked him
into
better as the
as
Ice
Friday.
Cube.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
He was good in 21 Jump Street. 22
Look,
Jump
he's.
Street.
I think he's good. I like Ice Cube. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'll always fuck with Ice Cube because he said no to the COVID shot. And he
Not only that,
turned
bro.
down like $9 million for it or something.
He's
like some-
real.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he doesn't say everything he says I don't agree with, but at least he says what he thinks. I can respect that.
yeah.
Actually thinks.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, man. Well, guys, jump in on this conversation. Let us know down in the comments what you guys think. With that being said, let's keep the cruise cruising. We got some comments to check out. You had some interesting commentary from our rankings from potatoes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This first one from Brock8396. Andy sounds like he's watching potato porn.
So? So what? I like
It's
potatoes.
called the Cooking Channel.
It's what the I'm into. What's wrong with that?
I just like a good spud.
That's right, man. Shit. I don't understand. I'm getting you guys hating on me because I like potatoes? Shit. Huh? What'd he say? Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm a fan.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. You also dropped a real talk yesterday.
I did.
Well, today.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
It came right.
Right.
Today
People loved it, man.
today is tomorrow and
Until-
now is
until-
yesterday.
Yep. That sounds like a Joe Biden quote.
Actually does sound like
It does sound like a Joe Biden quote. Jeez. But people loved it, bro. We got a comment here from Dirk's back. Yep. He says, I needed this. My days are always much better when Andy tells me I'm a bitch and can do better. Can be doing
Look,
better.
I didn't tell anybody they're a bitch. I just said a lot of you guys think something that isn't true. Like you think that meeting the standards is going to create wealth and greatness. And I'm just trying to save you like 20 years, bro. Like just doing what you're supposed to do isn't going to get you where you want to go. You got to understand that. You know, championship people, which make a lot of money and win and create all the things that y'all say you want, they operate at a different standard, and it's in the excess of what any standard around them is going to hold them to. And so we deal with this with a lot of people, not just young people that are young and don't get it. It's a lot of people believe this. They think that if they show up and they do their job and, you know, they do what they're supposed to do and like that they're going to end up where they want to go. And bro, that's the bare minimum. Like that's called being an adult. You know what I'm saying? Like it just is the way it is, man. I see a lot of people getting it wrong. So I'm not saying you're a bitch. If you want to be like everybody else, by all means, man, you could do that. But like, don't expect all the rewards meeting a base level standard that you're expected to meet. Like that's not ever going to work out well. And you're going to be pissed off later. So I'm just trying to save you from spending 20 years doing it the wrong way and then being like, "What? The world f***ed me over." No, you just didn't understand the game. So
it's real, man. I love it. Got one more comment for you. This one's from Dallas Finstermaker. He says, "I'm from Utah, and we have a potato dish called funeral potatoes. It is so damn good."
we got a picture of that.
Yeah, I'm about to look that up.
Is that what it is?
That's funeral potato.
It looks like mac and cheese.
It looks like the mac and we do that with like cornflakes on the top.
Bro, cornflakes is a real thing.
Yeah,
That's one thing you guys get.
That's kind of good.
Cornflakes
Do they only
on the-
serve that at funerals, or is that like a dish that you can get just?
I think
with
it's if you
regular
eat too
dinner?
much, you're gonna have a fucking funeral. Like, it's great. I mean,
It
that shit goes straight to the arteries, bro.
It looks like au gratin potatoes, just cubed.
Yeah, it's like cheesy potatoes with cornflakes. Like that's like something.
That's solid.
That's why people shit.
That's solid. No, listen.
It's good shit.
Listen, you ever had cornflake chicken?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's good.
It's good shit.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's macro friendly.
Who came up with that?
White people.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I don't hear no more shit.
No, I mean, it was good. You know what I'm saying? It was good. It had a nice crunch to it. Listen, you guys get some
He's
stuff
holding
right.
back.
I'm just tired of hearing this. We don't season our food bullshit. That's a lie. There might be people that don't.
I think most.
No, bro. I don't even know where you guys get that from. That is not true.
And you see, I feel like here's the thing: like all biases are based in the little reality.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
there has to be a little truth to it, bro. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so common to say.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of true, but I'm still trying to think of like what white people don't season their food.
I don't know any.
Like Italian food, great. Spanish food, great.
Yeah.
Polish food's good.
White people bland.
And British food kind of sucks.
British food does. suck.
Maybe that's what they're
British
talking
food
about.
sucks. They season it. They just salt it until it's like
Bro, British food.
dehydrated.
Those dudes over there got a lot of shit wrong.
They got some
I can see why we left. You know what I'm saying?
I see why they lost.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Fucking people were starving.
Yeah, they
man.
probably actually have like the Irish.
Irish got bad food too.
They actually have unseasoned food.
Yeah.
You ever get like a shepherd's pie?
Yeah.
And it's just like whipped potatoes.
Yeah.
And it just, yep, there you go.
Yeah, that might be where it comes from.
Yeah.
Because they are like the original white people. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah. Funeral potatoes though. I might make some.
Yeah, they look good. I can't argue with that comment. They look great.
They do look really
Yeah.
good. They do look really good. Yeah. All right. Sweet.
I mean, they're gonna have good food out there, bro. They got like 7 wives. You know what I'm saying? Like
Somebody better make the
Somebody.
funeral.
yeah.
One of you got to season the food.
Oh shit, man! Good lord, guys, keep the cruise cruising. How about you? So there's a trend happening right now. I'm curious to see if you guys have been seeing it. Where I think we called it. I mean, because we saw it starting maybe a few months ago, where some rats were kind of jumping off the ship, and kind of telling on themselves. But now it's like it's moved and progressed to a whole different level. And now you're starting to see some of these articles coming out from traditional left-leaning sources, and they sound like Republican. Like, I mean, it's weird. So I don't know if you guys have been seeing it, but let's dive into this a little bit. Headline number 2 reads, "The rampant federal fraud that DOGE is largely ignoring. International criminal groups are stealing as much as $1 trillion a year from U.S. government programs, according to a new report by an anti-fraud firm. And DOGE isn't doing anything about it." So this is an NBC article, which I thought it's what kind of triggered it for me. And then I started looking, and there's a lot more stuff coming out. But yeah, now now they want more DOGE. Now there is fraud and waste in our government. Now we should be doing something about it. It's just interesting, man. So this article came out saying international criminal groups are stealing as much as $1 trillion a year from U.S. government programs, but the Department of Government Efficiency has done little to address the problem, according to a new report by a private anti-fraud firm. Quote, "It's the government's dirty little secret. This has been an ongoing effort by nation states and other criminal organizations for years," said Jordan Burris, vice president of Source, an identities management firm who is a former White House official. "We've been able to confirm that these coordinated attacks are pilfering government programs and doing so at a velocity that is relentless. Sources' new report found that U.S. government programs are being attacked by international criminal groups in China, Russia, Egypt, Poland, and several other nations, and that international fraudsters were responsible for up to 12% of all applications for government services and loans. The core problem is a failure of properly identified recipients. So that comes out. But then the big one, big talk of the day, there's a new book out, and everybody's addressing Biden now and how bad he was. And I think this is setting up a whole different move. We can talk about it here in a minute, but this is a New York Times article. Again, like they're just saying, fuck it, they're killing their own right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they wrote a couple articles defending him.
They did, along with Jake Tapper. And now they're all singing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're all singing. So a book points to Biden's decline and Democrats' cowardice.
Listen, this is the rats jumping off the ship way too late. You guys
drowning already.
They're already. You guys are already 1,000 feet under the sea with people.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no, I mean, yeah, dude. So there's the book called Original Sin describes how Mr. Biden's aides quashed concerns about his age, but the anonymous accounts show that many Democrats are still afraid to discuss the issue publicly. So this book's coming out. It's written by Jake Tapper of CNN.
He's a very trustworthy individual.
Very trustworthy. But again, he was one of the main, defenders of Biden the entire time.
Yeah, he's trying to cover his tracks, dude. It's like these guys forget that everything they've said is recorded.
Yeah.
He was part of this. And now, I'm going to write a book and that's going to make me absolved of everything I said and did.
Right.
The fuck out of here.
Yeah. It's crazy. But they're going into it. They're covering how basically Jill Biden was running the entire White House the entire time.
Sort of like we were all saying the whole time.
Like everybody was saying. And now they're all like
Jill was?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Clamshell.
Yeah, let's give some old lady school teacher dumbass control over the whole country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and but so you have this, you have people singing, but then at the same exact time, you also have people trying to completely.
I don't even believe that.
What, that Jill was running?
Yeah, it was Obama, bro, and now they're going to try to bury Joe Biden like it was her. Listen, that was
Biden all the way along. Biden was the runaway train, so that eventually they could go like this and wash their hands and say, he was just a confused old man. That's not really what our policies were meant to do.
And then pick it back up.
Yeah, and then,
right.
Exactly, because it absolves them of any malicious intent, because they can just go, oh, well, we just didn't know that the president was old and decrepit and senile. Where were the clues? It's that plausible deniability, which is like typical of any intelligence type of operation.
Yeah.
That's the cornerstone of any intelligence operation is plausible deniability. You have to have something that separates you from the crime.
From
and the Joe Biden family is that. Because at the end of the day, they got their pardons. Joe's probably watching Jeopardy somewhere by now. Jill's, who knows?
Well, Jeopardy's watching Joe. Be real about that.
Yeah, but that was so obviously the case because the Joe Biden years, we were on a runaway train. Everything was so obviously bad that there's no other explanation. You don't make that many mistakes over and over and over again and then continue to make them as the country goes down the gutter.
No, it was
full speed ahead.
Right. It was intentional. The dude, you want to talk about pay for play.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
right.
Come on, man.
Hunter's artwork was great though.
Yeah. 500,000 a piece. Listen, dude, these people this is a communist insurgency. These people are getting paid by our arch enemies that gain a lot from seeing us crumble. They're intentionally making decisions to weaken the country. It was very obvious the entire time. And now they're blaming it on he was senile so that they can, like you just said, flush him down the toilet and then pick up the next chance they get and continue to go down the path.
Yep. They shake off the dust and they'll try to go with all of the similar agendas that they had, but they'll wrap it in something new and shiny, which I just saw a poll, and AOC is the front runner as the leader of the Democrat Party. You know, so they'll
Like
bring in
28%. Yeah, it's like 28%, but that's the highest.
yeah,
one.
she had an overwhelming.
So we're
majority.
going to put some stupid socialist dumbass
who's never
Big
had a
booty.
job other than bartending.
Mhm.
That's what they did with Obama.
Yeah.
But
They
civic leader.
they wrap the ideas up in a new shiny wrapper, and then they pull the emotional heartstrings. They'll do it with abortion. Whatever happens under Trump under abortion will give them plenty of ammunition to come back and energize that voter base that does unfortunately turn out to vote.
Yeah,
Well, if he fixes the elections like he says he's going to do,
it won't matter.
it won't matter.
Yep.
But I mean, has that happened yet?
No.
No,
Why not?
absolutely not.
Why hasn't that happened? You would think if you believe that the election was stolen, as much as he believes it, and as much as the lawfare was targeted at him, you would believe that someone who was in that position would make those changes
Day
immediately.
Day one.
I have a
Executive
theory
orders,
on
day
this,
one.
though. I have a theory on this, all right? Because we got, about a year and a half before the next round of big elections come through,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I have a theory on this. I may be wrong, okay, but that's how I see it. You can't announce the play too early. If he announces the play and how exactly everything's going to be structured, that gives them a year and a half to figure out how to circumvent it.
I mean, that's a fair point.
Now, if he waits, you know what I'm saying, a year and a half, 5 months out, 6 months out from the main elections, okay, this is the plan. There's not enough time to try to cheat it.
Okay, that's a fair point. But let me ask you this. Why haven't these people literally been arrested?
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
That I don't know. That baffles.
I can tell you this, dude. Like, and Ian, you and I have talked about this so many times because you give him less grace than I do.
A lot less.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. No, listen,
Yeah.
listen. We've talked about this how many times?
Hundreds.
Hundreds of times. It's pretty. Every single day that goes by that I don't see these things happening, I'm gracious, dude. Like, I understand. Like, I've run big companies. I've built big companies. I understand that, you know, turning something around when it's very big is like turning around a cruise ship.
Takes time.
Okay. It's like turning around a cargo ship. It takes a minute. It's not like turning around a jet ski, right? So I have a little tolerance and understand that things take time. But there has been no indication other than those two judges being arrested that there is going to be any repercussions or anybody held accountable for anything
Anything.
that has
Correct.
happened. January 6th,
None.
holding these people for 4 years with no due process. And then you got people arguing for due process for these migrants
Illegal
who aren't even American citizens.
Right.
And none of these people have been arrested. None of the lies have been exposed. None of the information that was promised to be declassified has been declassified. Nothing. Okay? And I understand that a lot of you guys, you're going to support Trump no matter what. And I don't disagree that he has a far better option than the other thing.
Yeah.
But if we want the country to change permanently, there has to be drastic action. And Trump is a very smart man. And so I have to say there's probably a lot that I'm not aware of. You know, there's things that have happened allegedly in his first presidency where there was tremendous amounts of bloodshed that he caused that were never reported in public to hold certain people accountable for certain things in the Middle East. Okay. Specifically the Las Vegas shooting. All right. Alex Jones did a whole report on this just a day or two ago. And, you know, you say whatever you want about Alex. He's usually right. So, but my whole point here, guys, is that we can't just sit here and rally around someone who's made promises about certain things. And then because we've bought into this movement, ignore that those things are not being fulfilled.
And other things are in its place.
Correct. Yeah, dude. And it's like, you know,
I don't remember anybody voting for a mega AI database and AI healthcare and more mRNA vaccines. I don't know a single Trump voter who that was even a concern. You know, everybody voted for Trump because they wanted radical change. They wanted mass deportations, which we're not getting. They don't even report the numbers anymore. They had to stop reporting the numbers because they're lower than the Obama years in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And it's always...
And those are facts. That's not arguable.
Yeah, they were reporting them daily until people on Twitter started going, these numbers are dog shit. How are we going to deport 1 million people at 250 a day?
Yeah, right.
You know, and that was a major cornerstone of the campaign promise. Election integrity was a major cornerstone of the campaign promise. These were the nuts and bolts of why people wanted him back. We watched an election get stolen right in front of our eyes. We watched for 4 years the consequences of that, and we watched Trump for a year after the election not shut up about it, and then when he started campaigning, not shut up about it. And where's that energy now?
Well, where's this?
That's a huge red flag for me.
Dude, me too. And
we talked about it the whole time.
It's hard for me to say that because, like, I want to be unified behind a leader. Like, I want to be able to say, yeah, dude, yeah, let's go. But I can't sit here and pretend. Yeah. I can't sit here and ignore data. That's not my nature. If that was in my nature, I wouldn't be successful in business. I have to accept the reality of what the data says. And the data doesn't say anything but more of the same. And it might not be as bad, but it certainly isn't getting fixed.
That's the path to a slow, painful blowing out of the candle.
Yeah,
or a dying of the candle of the American dream is like, well, you know, he's better than, you know, just like you were talking about on the Real AF episode. Like, okay, congratulations. The border is now, you know, it's not even closed. We still don't have a border wall. There's not a whole lot of mention of that. But yes, apprehensions at the border are lower. Congratulations. That's your job. It's your job. That's your job as president, is to make sure that we have a border. Oh, there's no more men in women's sports. Good job. That is literal common sense. That's like me showing up to here at work, clocking in, and walking up to Andy's room and say, yo, can I get a raise? I
used the men's bathroom today.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I really wanted to go in the women's bathroom, but I know that you told me not to.
Not only that, I showed up on time.
Yeah, and I showed up on time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I see a lot of on both sides of the aisle. It's not just, you know, the Democrats have become like, oh, look, like that's the ultimate enemy, as if the Democrats acted alone in any of this, that there was no foreign or
it's not even the Democrats, bro. It's not even the Democrats. It's the communists, man. Like it's a whole difference. Like that's not even being
people.
addressed.
Yeah, people don't understand that communism is by its nature insidious. Mm-hmm. So it gets into things and it corrupts it very, very quietly. And if you're not paying attention to the details, you know, because people are all hyped up. Oh, yeah, you know, no more men in women's sports. But like they're totally not talking about the fact that Palantir, which has its origins as a CIA front company, is now building a mega AI database to be able to. And you look at Peter Thiel. I mean, do the research on this guy. This guy is not a good dude, and he's very close to the president. They're building AI networks to be able to, in Peter Thiel's own words, paraphrasing, to be able to correct behavior. That's like Minority Report kind of stuff. Like, hey, you had you wrong.
What did he say? Correct behavior how?
Just being able to predict what people are doing based on just collections of huge amounts of data. Ian Carroll has a really good deep dive into Palantir that would give much better answers. But it's AI database, and they're using it for medical. They want to involve AI in medical, which is a fundamental.
Well, how are they going to affect behavior with AI?
Easy. I mean, bro, that's how they did it with MK Ultra. Essentially, like it's what you're seeing on the phone. Like it's been proven. Like they can trigger manic episodes. They can trigger all these different things to get people to shoot up schools or whatever. What else can they get you?
What do you mean? So you're thinking like they're going to have AI talk to people, talk them into shit?
No, I don't think.
No, just the collection of information,
but
that
knowing how you think.
Yes, yeah, that's
knowing
it.
everything how you think and what you like and bro, it's easy. You can easily.
Well, don't they already have all that?
Yeah, but now it's going to be in a,
Well,
in a
I'm just saying,
big,
like,
giant
don't-
database.
Well, I mean,
that-
isn't it already? I mean, like
loosely
record.
connected.
People
yeah.
don't understand. They record everything you say within earshot of your
Of any
phone.
device, yeah.
Not just when you're on your phone, all the time.
What AI would do is make that data more usable because it organizes it in a way that they can access it very easily. And you know, social media can influence behavior.
For sure.
So the more information and data they have about what you're looking at, what you're reading, what you're thinking, what you're saying, who you're associating with, you know, where you're showing up, where you're going, your location, all that stuff, they can start to influence you using kind of what they already have. You know, social media is a public influence tool at this point.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like progressing from a.
Oh well, dude, there's no doubt about that. I mean, they use social proof to influence behavior. You know, nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd.
Right.
So when they use bot networks and fake traffic and all these things to make people appear like their opinions are popular, more people tend to join those opinions.
Join on it, right?
I mean, that's how they built all of these movements that didn't make sense over the last decade.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing. So it's like they already know what you like, but now you throw AI in there, they know why you like it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's going to be the pivotal piece there. Like that's going to change everything. Yeah, it is interesting. Ian, you brought up that Peter Thiel guy. I think that's also another mistake that Trump's making. I thought he was gonna miss it when he like skipped out on using OPM to like pick his cabinet members and shit like that, and he was hand selecting people. But he still got a few bad apples in that circle.
I would argue that
seeing a lot of
he has
stuff
more bad apples than good ones for sure.
For sure, and like
For
I've
sure.
been seeing a lot of stuff about like Pam Bondi even that like she's compromised on there, and like that was a close pick like that he personally chose, and it's like she's controlling the Epstein release. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been seeing,
Didn't what's his face come out and say that all the Epstein data was Comey? Come out and say that all the Epstein
it was corrupted,
was gone,
deleted, destroyed, is what he said. You know what I'm saying? But like,
so then why the would she say, "Oh, I've got it on my desk"?
that's what I'm saying, dude.
Why would
Like,
you say that?
Again, none of it makes any sense. We can't get a straight answer. And the promise was right away that we would get the Epstein files, that we would understand the truth behind JFK, 9/11. All of these things have been major events shaping.
Well, okay, let's say there's things happening that we don't know about that are preventing these things from happening. There should be transparency as to why.
They called themselves the most transparent administration ever when they handed out those little cute binders to the social media conservative influencers.
Yeah, what were those binders for? Nothing.
Nothing.
More
No, shit that was already
redacted than
released.
more redacted information that was already available. So the information that was already available, like via WikiLeaks and stuff like that, it was that, but with more redactions.
No, it was no,
And then
no-
silence. And the only time they talk about it is because there is a large number of people who will not let it go, who keep asking, who keep bringing it up, even when it's not being talked about. You know, but that's a major red flag. That was a huge campaign promise. We know for a fact that was a large political and entertainment and powerful blackmail network that touched almost every aspect of American society, from politics to entertainment to sports to everything in between. And that was a promise that said, we're going to release it, everything. And now it's, well, the victims. Okay. Nobody's asking for the victims. We're asking for the names. And they're like, oh, well, what do you want us to do? Just publish the child porn? No, I don't want you to do that at all. I want you to take every single perpetrator, every single person who was involved in any way, shape, or form, put them in the deepest, darkest dungeon that you can find until there are enough wood chippers for everybody all at once.
That's correct. And not only that, it should be broadcast live so people know we don't do that kind of stuff.
Live on YouTube.
I'll tell you what, dude, that brings up a whole nother topic that I could get this off track. But like, it seems like this child porn shit and pedophilia shit is getting worse and worse and worse. And it's because there's no public repercussions for this. Like, what the is going on?
My good friend, Alex Rosen, he goes by I Fight for Kids online. He has been chasing down child predators for a long time, doing confrontations, stuff like that. The amount of places that he will turn over a binder full of evidence video recording of the confrontation of the individual with an admission, and the police won't touch it.
Why?
I think there's actually something going on in Missouri right now. There's a case that he brought, and the police won't touch it because of some sort of rule and regulation somewhere.
Well, I guarantee you that's not Andrew Bailey. I know that.
He tweeted it out the other day.
Bailey did?
No, Alex. I'll pull it up, but it is getting worse because you're right. There's not. I mean, he's literally handing over an open and shut case in a lot of cases with an admission on camera, meeting of a person trying to meet up with a young child, and surprise, surprise, Alex is a big dude. He's like 6-something huge. Handing that over to the police and not getting convictions.
I would like someone to explain why that is happening. That's a very hard thing to reconcile outside of the conclusion that people are in on it, and it's much bigger than what we think.
Because most states, like, you know, because I could see people trying to make the argument. Well, I mean, like in those cases, like the catch of predators, there was no actual child victim, but most states have laws that loophole that anyway. It's the intent that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like that guy intended to go do this.
Well, I mean, like, dude, look, you can't tell me that there's all these guys online, like this dude you're talking about, Ian, or like Goob, or like, you know, those Jay Schmoody or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
These dudes that go around and find these people, and our government can't find them.
Right.
Like, we're just going to let this happen. Like, at what point do the men just get together and start killing these? Like, real talk.
If they did that, they'd all be arrested.
I know.
And if that doesn't tell you that there's something horribly wrong with the system in and of itself, that you have clear-cut crime, the worst of all crimes, going ignored, and if citizens decide to take up arms to protect themselves, that is a bigger concern for the state and the governing body than...
Why do you think that is?
I think there's only one conclusion, and that there are people protecting and allowing this to happen.
Destabilization.
Yeah.
Demoralization. Make shit allowed that is completely unacceptable by moral standards, and then punish the people who stop it.
There's nothing more disruptive for an individual and thus society than sexual violence.
Mm-hmm.
That's if you want to create a generation of traumatized, not okay individuals, sexual violence has been used for years and years and years and years and years. I mean, it's one of the worst weapons of war, and they're doing it now right in front of your face. Kids being sexualized left and right on things like Netflix and the internet.
Why are the parents not doing anything? I mean, if
boggles my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just telling you, dude. Like, if that was your kid, I know I wouldn't have to do it, but like, if it was, or
no, I'd ask to borrow the tank,
or if it was his kids or whatever, bro. Like, you're going in the dirt, dude, and that's that.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't really matter what happens to me. I don't really care.
No, it is weird, man, and it is weird. I don't get it. To your point though, because you brought this up about, you know, what else?
You know, I've seen a couple interviews of these predators too, and they all say the same thing.
Same exact thing.
They say, you know what they say? They say that they watch the parents.
Mm-hmm.
They say that they
particularly
observe
the father.
If they think that the father is a pussy and won't do anything, those are the kids they target.
Yeah. Or if they don't see one.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's
they will not fuck with
between
someone.
Those two things. 80% of kids are likely to be a victim.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you
targeted.
remove the testosterone from men intentionally for the last 25 years.
Yeah,
that's real.
You know, like we got all these bitch tit fat ass that act like women running around, you know, like taking orders from everybody, you know, like, bro, it's, I mean, you could see the propaganda promoting it. Like, look at the commercials. Look at the men they put in commercials. They're all pear-shaped. They're not fit. They supplicate to their wives. They, you know, yes, honey, I'll do this and this and this. And then the women will openly say on the internet, like, hey, we're tired of these people.
And it still
Yeah.
persists.
Like, and then when you criticize it, they're like, "Well, you sound like an alpha male, fake, testosterone filled." Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Lots of testosterone. Breakfast, lunch, and
About
dinner.
1,500.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yes.
Give or take.
Yes.
Plus or minus. You know.
You sound like a Neanderthal. Yes.
Yeah.
Like you sound like all you do is eat meat.
Yep.
And that
Indeed.
just that attitude.
Like it's an insult.
yeah.
You know.
Like, yes, I do eat steak.
Yeah.
every
Let me
day.
walk around with some bitch titties with my shirt tucked in and my belly hanging down and covering my micro PP. You know what I'm saying? And not be able to get a boner. Like.
Well, that type of behavior is, I mean, look at
weak.
going back to women and men's sports. I mean, if you had a daughter and she was at a swim meet and she had worked her ass off for however many years to be at the top of her field, and you're standing in the stands
Not saying shit.
not saying shit as a dude in a bathing suit or in a one piece jumps into the pool and whoops your daughter.
Not only that.
And you're just standing there.
Not only that.
I'd
he's
be in the dunking him.
this dude's in the locker room with his dick hanging out.
Yeah.
Like Riley Gaines was on the show. She's like, dude, that guy, he's changing our locker with his dick hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, bro, what the is going on?
How could you not protect your daughter from that?
How could you not protect any women from that?
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be your daughter.
Yeah.
But your daughter. You know, she's in
You know
there
what's
swimming.
funny
and she's
too,
gotta
dude?
see some dude's Johnson hanging.
What's funny too is
Probably
like
little, too.
they propagate this like weak man in the commercials and on television, and you know, you got to be overly sensitive and in tune with your inner child, and if you're not, you're fucked up. No, that's called being a man, dude. It's stoicism. It's what all manly qualities embody. It's just a history of time. And you could argue about it all you want, but the reality is the attraction from women to men is primal. They cannot help that. Okay. It's vice versa. It's why men are attracted to feminine women. That is programmed in your DNA. Okay. So like y'all are it all up and you think it's going to work. And all these women out here that are married to these schlubs, like, they're all unhappy. They all cry. They all complain. And it's like, well, yeah, you married a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, it's the truth. Like,
no, it's a plainly obvious truth. If you state that, then somehow you're the bad guy.
well, I'll be bad guy.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. I'm always a bad guy. I don't give a You too.
Same.
Yeah. DJ gets away with it because he's black.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No,
do
dude,
no harm.
I've been getting my heat, man.
Yeah.
I've been getting my heat.
Well, you know, when you say that when you say Kanye's song is a banger, you're probably gonna get some heat, dude.
I mean, it is what it is. What else? Because I want to bring this up too about Trump while we're on it. We like I remember when COVID was going on, we were like, man, like why the hell would he go along with it? Like how did he not recognize it? And I think one of the theories that came up was like, well, there has to be something we're just not aware of, right? Like, is there a big red button that the deep state's willing to push if he doesn't go along with this? Is he, you know what I'm saying? So like,
That's a fair concern.
It's a fair argument, but it's
JFK
not
got his
based
head
in
blown
fact.
off over it.
Right.
You know?
That's right. I mean, they tried to assassinate this guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what? I think what we're running into, man. I believe the deep state's a lot deeper and bigger than we realize. Or I think that the normal person realizes, and I think that, bro, there has for me looking at it objectively, I feel like there has to be something else there. Obviously, like, yes, it could be he's also bought and paid for. He's part of it, PSYOP, whatever you want to call him. But like, what's the other argument, bro? It has to be that to me, man. Like, it's just so big.
That's a fair. I mean, that's totally a fair argument, and unfortunately, you won't know.
We don't know.
But just following that line of logic, like if you were one of these individuals doing all of this bad stuff, would you be prepared to just be like, "You caught me"?
Yeah, right.
Like,
Oh,
oops, here
I'm
we
not
go.
going-
Like, put on the shiny bracelets. Like, no, you'd be ready to burn everything down. So yeah, that does make sense, and I think that's fair to give Trump some grace on that.
Yeah.
But at some point, rubber's got to meet the road, because my problem with that on the other side is like, during the COVID years, it was like, there's a super secret, Q operation and the military's in charge. And, he scratched his butt during this picture. And,
enjoy the show.
He was, And it was like, and everybody thought that like things were under control. And then 2020 comes and it's like, oh, wow, they just stole the election. And then after that, it was like, oh, well, Trump's still in control. So it's like, yeah, you've got to give him a little grace. But I think putting everybody's feet to the fire will reveal, real will show itself under the light of the flames a little bit.
I think that's the other piece, dude. It's like, Trump is still trying to give the Constitution meaning, right? Because when you got like these actual legal problems going on, the pardons that Biden put out, right? Like, and these activist judges that are stopping shit left and right, like that's a whole different fight. And he's still trying to, respect the integrity of the office and the Constitution.
Yeah, because once you step on it, everybody who follows you will do the same thing.
Sets a bad precedent,
you set a precedent, and then all of a sudden, I mean, that's how we wind up with things like the Federal Reserve.
Right, and I think we're in a situation as a country, bro. Like we need it. Like I'm cool with the dictator coming in for a minute, because that's what's really going to be needed to fix this shit. You're going to have to say, okay, like cool, that's the Constitution. I respect it. These people don't. We got to get these people out. It's not going to look constitutional, but it's going to be what's necessary.
Well, that was one of the cornerstones of Western society.
It is constitutional.
That is our Constitution, though, right? Like,
but part of the founding principles of Western society for most of Western society was that there was a singular ruler. Those rulers, though, were held to a very high standard. They ruled, our history is so subverted and just totally whitewashed at this point. But, we hear about like the kings and queens and they overthrew during the French Revolution and all of this stuff. And it's when you read some of the literature from back then, the same forces that are in our media now and who are stirring the pot and being very subversive now were also very instrumental in igniting the flames of the French Revolution. Right. And it started with, heavy criticisms on the king and the queen, misrepresenting their wealth, spreading lies about them, so it's the same sort of stuff, but Western civilization was built off of the fact that there was a singular ruler and that everything they said went with the understanding that they ruled from a virtuous position. And if they weren't, they were held to a standard. And that didn't change until the French Revolution, and they eventually came into the czars in Russia. Again, like he was when they killed the last czar of Russia, he was beloved by the Russian people. That wasn't an organic revolution. That wasn't because people were upset. That's because there was a certain subset of people who weren't doing well because usury was outlawed, all these other things were outlawed that are insidious in nature, and they didn't like it. So they shot him and his family in cold blood, and then they brought in communism, and they also brought in democracy alongside of that. And democracy works with an educated population. With an uneducated population, it becomes a tool of oppression, no different than communism. Yeah. Stupid people are very easily to emotionally manipulate, and you can get them to vote on stupid issues while they ignore big ones.
That's real,
Explain what usury is. Most people don't know what that means.
Usury is the loaning of money at an interest, and it is a fundamentally malicious thing to do because it's economically it doesn't make sense. You are not adding anything of value to the marketplace with your skill set, with your work. You are essentially extracting value from the marketplace. And it comes with high interest loans. Obviously, if you're going to barter and loan money, it's not necessarily the loaning of money. It's the loaning of money at exorbitant interest rates.
Which, by the way, what communities are affected by that the most?
The lower incomes, by far.
Okay, and what race is usually affected the most? Where do we find all the payday loans and all the...
Oh, right in the hood.
Right next to the hood.
24.9999%, 30-something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, bro, people, it's interesting how people, like most of history, that was not allowed.
No, there's a lot of countries throughout the entire world, not just the Western world, that made it illegal to do so. And it's for good reason, because it's a breeding ground for devious people, because you start accumulating so much money so quickly that now you've got the ability to suppress what you don't want with money, which is in most cases the truth.
Yeah.
Jesus flipped over tables. He was unhappy because there was money loaning going on. And it's a fun. We've gotten so used to it that we don't even think twice about it.
That was my point. Was my point. We're brought up in this oppressive system. Like, dude, okay, and sometimes people get upset when I say this, but like, if you were a slave in the South and you were born into slavery and that was all you ever knew, how would you ever be able to recognize that it was right or wrong? It would be very difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. And it would
seem like life.
That's right. And it would be very difficult for you to imagine another way of life. And when we think about the taxation system and the interest rate and the finance laws and how things are done here in this country, it's really not that different in principle. It's just a different way of presenting it. And it would be like saying, I mean, dude, it just is what it is. They tell you you're free, but you're not free. And then once you see it, you're an extremist. You're a problem. Yep. You're an anti-Semite. You're a political radical.
You're an extremist.
Yeah. And dude, that's not true. Just because you see something and you understand that it's wrong, that is wrong. And it causes most of the problems in our society could be traced back to this
financial leverage.
Yes.
Money was never currency, was never meant to be a means of power. It's a median of exchange. It's so that if I want a First Form energy drink, I don't have to go cut your grass for it. I can just give you something that has inherent value because we've all decided that this is a $1 bill, that I can give this to you as a store of value for the work that you put in to create this energy drink.
Right. It's a bridge.
I could have it, and
it's a bridge of value.
Yeah, you could use that at your discretion at any point in the future. You didn't have to say, "Hey, sorry, I don't need my grass cut today. Come back tomorrow."
Yeah.
Maybe then. It's not meant, and usury turns money into a instrument of control.
Well, and then
because you limit it, you start to hoard so much of it that people have to they fall into the cycle where everything's borrowed.
Right.
I mean, there's barely anybody in this country who isn't leveraged, even if you're in a good position. I mean, just having a mortgage.
Well, it's not even just that, dude. Yes, you're correct. Very few people are in a position where they are unleveraged. However, even if you are unleveraged and you talk about that too much or too loud, they will find a way to punish you because they feel threatened by it.
Absolutely.
So how
debanking everything?
Yeah. How is that?
Kanye, look what happened to Fuentes. Look what happened to Gavin. What's the other guy's name? Gavin McGinnis. They were all cut off from the system of money itself. They weren't allowed to spend or utilize their own money as a way to shut them up.
Right.
They did that to Fuentes. He was an 18-year-old boy.
It's weird too. There's one group that I know of that just because they're in the group, they can get 0% or interest-free loans. Like they don't participate.
Yeah,
that's
it's actually illegal.
It's weird.
Very strange.
That is weird. You guys should look
thinking of
into
changing my last name.
Dude. I mean,
next time I need to buy a house.
I just need some curls. I'll be all right. But it's weird. That is weird.
Dude, what's weird to me is how nobody notices it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and then like,
to see your point though, we're brought up into it. Like even to your point of slavery, like, but there were people that were brought up in slavery that realized, oh, the shit, this is wrong. But it was just like, what do you do about it, right?
Yeah.
And then you're being held back, like the runaway slaves, bro. You have people on the planet. Where are you going?
Yeah.
Why would you want to run? You know what I'm saying? Look,
yeah.
What do you mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, it's like to your point, man. Like it's a very corrupt way of life, man. And it's just like there's too many people comfortable because they've accepted that this is just the way it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like for a long time, bro, I was that way. I didn't play the game. I don't like credit cards. I don't like none of that shit. But then you realize, oh, you got to play that game.
And if you don't play the game, we won't help you with anything else.
You can't get anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a terrible thing, man. It's a terrible thing. Guys, jump in on this conversation, though. Let us know down in the comments what you guys think. Let's get to our final headline, man. Headline number 3. Headline 3 reads, breaking, South Carolina trans activist arrested for threatening to assassinate Representative Nancy Mace. Boy or girl? What you thinking?
Wait, boy girl original or what did they? What
It's a fucking man dressed up as a woman.
Okay.
100%.
So
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So what are their pronouns though?
It's ma'am.
In jail. That's their pronouns now. We talk about accountability, though. I mean, it's starting.
You don't ever see, listen, whatever, man.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see women dressing up as men.
You
hang
do.
around with
I was about to say that, but that was the trans shooter in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was
got
one. But
one.
99% is this other way around, causing all the problems.
Yeah, weak men.
Crazy dudes.
Yeah.
Weak men.
Yeah, but a trans activist in Greenville, South Carolina, has been arrested by state authorities after threatening to assassinate Representative Nancy Mace. Samuel T. Kane, who went by the alias Roxy, was arrested by the South Carolina.
Samuel, Roxy, whatever.
You could have went with like Samantha. You know what I'm saying? Like that's more believable. You know what I'm saying? Go. That's a.
They don't do. That's because it's not real.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he just went to the trashiest stripper name he could think of.
It's a. Listen, man. It's a fetish.
Yeah.
Okay. This is why you see all these men dressed up as women, dressed like little girls, or having stripper names, or like over sexualizing themselves when they're dressed in their costumes. Like real women don't go out and do that. Like they don't run around in these outfits or dressed like you don't see grown women dressed as little girls running around town. You don't see it, dude. It's a fetish, bro. And I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but it's the truth. It just is the truth.
That's
okay.
It's exactly what it is, and people need to stop pretending like it's anything but a sick and twisted sexual fetish. Mm-hmm. Which, hey, if you got sexual fetishes, that's cool. Just don't do it out in public and keep it away from my kids.
I remember
you want to dress up like a little girl in your house and dance around in the mirror and play Polly Pocket. That's fine. I still think that you're weird and you probably need some help, but just don't do it out in public. Don't do it on the internet, and don't bring that anywhere near my kids.
Dude, fetishes used to be like a very private thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that's like what kind of made them
because we could
like worth doing. It was like, people had like their little weird things that now it's just out in the open for everybody to see.
Yeah. And if you don't
it's the same thing
fetish,
with legal drugs.
Yeah.
Like they want to legalize everything. Like go smoke your crack in the alley with the rest of the crackheads. Don't do it on the sidewalk.
Good times, man. How it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it's that it baffles me, man. And now it's like if you don't have a fetish, something's wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, it's weird. It's weird, man. But yeah, so this guy, Samuel Theodore Roxy Kane.
And then they get mad. They look like that, and you don't see him as a woman. Like you're a problem. Like, bro, listen, man.
Yeah.
At some point in time, you got to look in the mirror and be like, "Fuck, I think I'm fucked up."
100%. This is a young man that watched far too much pornography on the internet growing up. 100% chance. 100%
Well, that's
chance.
what happens when porn's available to 10-year-old kids.
Instantly, yeah.
Like, bro, how many of these young men have problems even getting an erection with a woman because they've been watching porn for 15 years by the time we actually meet one?
Yeah, and they've gone so far down into the category section that they're into like
some weird
trans shit.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was younger, we used to have to go dumpster diving in the recycling bin so that the old man threw out his pen. We would get a Playboy, and that was pretty good. And if we got like a Penthouse or a Hustler, it was a damn good job. We were set, and that's all you saw for the next 2 months until he threw out some more magazines. Yeah. You know what I mean? These kids at 7, 8 years old, they're watching hardcore pornography right available on anywhere. And by the time they get to whatever this thing is.
And then you got parents that are like, oh, just let them be what they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck out of
We
here,
always
man.
knew.
That's your job. Yeah. Your job is to protect them from this shit. Yeah. This kid's life is ruined because whoever raised him just was a total pussy.
Was probably too busy doing something else. No, just distracted by meaningless bullshit.
A lot of it is a lot of it's that, and a lot of it is this like progressive attitude of, well,
that's virtuous.
Yeah, right. Well, we got to let them discover themselves and find out who they are. No, dude, you're not allowing that by not protecting them from that shit. No. You know, you allow them to be propagated and influenced by the media and by pornography and by all of these negative things that are designed to do exactly this. They're designed to do this. So you're telling me as a parent that you think that by letting them go down this road, you're allowing them to discover themselves when there is an entire $1 trillion propaganda machine forcing them to become this. Like, you're supposed to counterbalance that.
Yeah, that's what literally what parenting is making sure that the world doesn't swallow your kid whole.
So they arrested him.
Yeah, they arrested. This was his tweet that he put out. I'm going to unalive Representative Nancy Mace with a gun, and I'm being 100% dead ass, no cap.
What? For real. Like, how do you even take that seriously, though? Like, I mean, I understand you have to take any of these things seriously. You know what I mean? But like,
dude looks like he's in an 80s metal band.
Yeah, I was about to say, it looks like he's playing
like it used to be.
Zeppelin.
It used to be like just put that shit on and play some metal.
Looks like a
ate the head off of a bat and then went back to being normal.
Yeah.
I mean, keep that shit a hot topic.
Yeah, man. In my day, that was called rock and roll.
Yeah,
now you went and made it gay.
Ozzy Osbourne's trans daughter.
Yeah,
dude, man. But you know, the part that also frustrates me too, though, bro, like, is when these people do this shit.
That's a big bitch, bro. 6'3", 220.
Hey. Bro, you could have been fucking
should be playing linebacker for the Titans,
That's
bro.
what I'm saying, man.
Right? You should have just showed up to practice, man.
Yeah.
Damn, man. I got my boy Sam, man.
That is a large.
That's a big dude. I mean, 6'3", 220. I mean, yeah, that's a good frame. Roxy.
Samuel.
But the other thing that catches me, like, it throws me off. I love your commentary on this. Is just like when these people do get caught, you know, making these threats, whatever it is, they always play victim, or they didn't say it, didn't happen. Because like AOC, we got to bring her back in the combo. She just got caught on this too. So she the other day, you know, you saw that happen in your old state. They tried to storm the DHS facility, right? So AOC made a comment saying that there would be hell to pay if those members of Congress started getting arrested for trespassing and assault, things like that. Well, AOC got confronted and completely denies saying it, even though literally she just said it. And she's the victim, right? She's a victim. Let's check this clip out.
Congresswoman, you promised hell to pay if Reps Monica McIver, Bob Menendez, and Coleman are prosecuted or charged with the crime. Is that a threat to Tom Homan and Kristen Young?
I think people have been watching me drag Republicans for filth for trying to cut Medicaid across this country. I think people have seen how I can be an effective advocate and how there are political consequences, whether it's elections, whether it's public opinion. So, I mean, in terms of a personal threat of violence, no, that's crazy.
Okay, and you know, you say that Coleman was doing her constitutional oversight duties, but she assaulted a police officer.
Thank you so much.
Why do you think that they're above the law, Congresswoman? Congresswoman, why do you think that Democrats are above the law?
They aren't. Republicans are just so...
Congresswoman, are you afraid that they're going to be prosecuted and found guilty of assaulting us? Stop blocking my phone.
Then they run, man. Then they run.
Bro, listen. I'm so sick of this shit with these people. This, you know, I'm going to say some wild ass shit and then pretend
I just meant
didn't
politically,
say it.
of course.
And then, you know, and then when violence does happen, they celebrate it and encourage it and clap for it. But then they say, oh, I didn't instigate it. I don't know why people are doing that. Like, and then, you know, they do this shit where they put their hands in front of the phone and they stand on what you said.
Just stand on business.
Yeah.
Stand on business.
Yeah. It's funny how these things work. You know, it's always like, oh, well, you know, we didn't instigate the violence, but you've seen it hundreds and hundreds of times. Meanwhile, myself, I experienced it when the FBI called me for January 6th. They had all my tweets. They wanted to know what I meant by every single word of it, even though that all of them were much more mild than there will be hell to pay.
Right.
I think because I was supposed to speak. I spoke on January 5th, and I was supposed to speak at the Capitol. And I remember tweeting something out about the event saying that, hey, President Trump, the cavalry is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to know what I meant by that.
Yeah.
They
wanted, we're going to go support President Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Right. But it's so funny. And I'm, I got off relatively easy. I just got investigated. But there's people who were locked up. And part of the justification for locking them up were things that they said online.
Yeah, for 4 years with no trial.
Yeah, for 4 years with no trial.
Have those people all been released yet?
So, from my understanding, all except a few stragglers. But I actually have a buddy, and I don't know anybody else who's experienced this or if it's with all of them. But he was fighting his January 6th case forever, and his pardon is like the weirdest thing ever. There's no signature on it. It came via email. You would think that these people would get like a piece of paper with maybe like a presidential seal on it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's everybody, maybe because he didn't go away, but he had formal charges pressed against them. He was fighting them at the time of the pardon. So weird. I don't know if they're all still locked up. I know that there were some people that they weren't going to let out because there was some violence, some actual violence involved.
Mm-hmm.
But all of these people should have been let out day one, no questions asked. Because even the violence was instigated.
That's been proven.
You called me that day.
I know. I called all my friends that were there that day.
I think I called you.
I was watching it on TV, and I'm like, hey.
You say, get the out of there.
Yeah.
Those were your exact words. Get out of there right now. And I remember being like, party's over.
Time to go.
Because I couldn't see. All I could see was on the ground.
No, I could see what they were doing right away.
You said that exactly.
Bro, I was watching the television, and you were watching with me.
We were in Jason's
I called
office.
you.
We were on the phone. We were texting with Jocko, and bro, we could see on television they were opening the doors, letting people in.
Mm-hmm.
Like we could see it,
and it's because we were watching. I think we were watching OAN, so it's like it wasn't CNN's coverage.
Yeah, it wasn't
Fox
yeah.
coverage. Like it was like because OAN at the point, like at the time, they're fairly new, very unbiased. Like, and they were showing like raw footage, different angles at the mainstream was
as it's going on,
as
right.
it was happening.
Yeah, I saw it. I mean, it was as soon as I got off the phone with you, I went from being like, "Whoa, this is awesome," to being like,
"Whoa,
whoa, yeah, whoa." Like it was like somebody just like turned a light switch on, and I could see all of the strings and all of the puppets very, very easily. But going back to the point, they hammered regular citizens for this kind of stuff, and these people just do it openly and just knowing full well that there are complete psychos who listen to them
but take them seriously.
That take them very seriously. And those psychos are these are like MK Ultra prime candidates.
Sam took
literally.
it serious.
I mean, like he's like the poster boy for an MK Ultra operation. You can play with this guy's head so easily, and all he needs to do is see his favorite politician talk about whatever, that there's going to be hell to pay. And then crazy Roxy over here is going to 100% dead assassinate somebody.
How come we haven't heard any more about the Trump assassination in Butler? I mean, I think it's a fair question to ask.
I think there were too many questions that they couldn't answer. Well,
you would think Trump would want to make that known.
Yeah, you would, which makes me question it more.
I mean, you and I have talked about this a million times.
Yeah, it's something like that. It was like a huge news story for like 2 weeks, and then they put out a photograph and sold a bunch of T-shirts about it, and then nobody ever really talked about it again, unless it's like used as a way to absolve Trump of any wrongdoing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hear that a lot when I criticize, hey, Trump said he was going to do this, it's not that, and they'll be like, they tried to shoot him.
Yeah, right.
It's like, okay,
So what's he not going to do anything?
Yeah, like. Yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to.
Well, I mean, like,
what point that's supposed to drive
if they fucking
home.
shot me in the ear, I think I would be much more. I just know myself. I would be strung up, dude. Real talk. Their heads would be on stakes. Every single one of every single one of them that was involved would have their head on a stake, in the front of the White House right now, and it would be a rotting skull. And
Yeah.
and it
would stay there for 4 years.
That's right. It would leave, and it would say, "This is what happens when you f around."
Yeah,
that's what it would be.
Yeah, it's interesting that was such a such a news story. That's kind of a big deal. Somebody takes a shot at a living president. It's only happened a handful of times. A couple unsuccessful attacks.
Yeah, like Reagan.
Yeah, Reagan. There was McKinley. I think they killed McKinley. But JFK was shot at. Teddy Roosevelt was shot at. These were huge things that did not go away. That
are part of the legend.
Yes, and part of the presidency.
And now we don't even figure out how this guy got there, how he got his guns, who he is, where he's from. Who
was he meeting?
Bro, why does his GPS go right next to an FBI building like dozens and dozens of times leading up to why are all of these things not talked about?
What happened with the stock dumps? Like, how did that
happen? We're going to talk about all the stocks that were dumped that, the day before that? Dude, nobody's talking about it.
It's weird.
One of the things I'm most surprised about is how short the collective memory is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's incredibly short.
Yeah, it almost makes me feel like, well, I guess these people just don't care.
That's the beauty of a 24-hour, 7-day a week, 365-day a year, all access
news
cycle, entertainment cycle. That
it's also the product of dramatic financial hardship intentionally imposed on society, because when people are too worried about how they're going to eat, it's hard to pay attention to anything else.
Yeah. I mean, I think the number one response I posted on Twitter a couple weeks ago, I said, whatever happened to that trip to Fort Knox?
Yeah.
And the number one response was, oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you mean all of the treasury gold you forgot about?
Yeah.
How they said they were going to go check and then they didn't, and then they literally have never mentioned it again?
Yeah.
That's just one example where things just get memory hold,
Let me ask you this, dude. You've been accused quite often, and this is a little bit off the topic. You got any more on this topic? Okay. It's a little bit off the topic.
See you, Roxy.
Yeah. Sorry about it, man. Like, I tried to fix this and they got you.
Yeah.
I know you very well. You're one of my very best friends, and I know you're not a hateful person. You're not. You're a good dude who has a lot of the same character traits I have, which is I cannot stand to. I would say we're very similar in almost every way. You got a nicer beard. I'll give you that. You know what I'm saying? But
nice.
It is nice.
Right.
But
a little glitter in there, but it's
yeah. Well, they're getting to him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But you have been accused very heavily, even by the ADL, of being an anti-Semite, and I know that's not true. Like, that's not, you don't hate entire races of people or religions of people.
No.
And what do you say about that? Like, because this is a bigger platform to talk about that. And, it bothers me as your friend that people say that, because I know it's not true, and I understand, and I think most of our audience understands that criticizing a country is not the same as criticizing, an entire group of people.
It's no different than criticizing your own country.
I know.
Nobody has a problem when you talk shit about the Republicans or the Democrats, but all of a sudden you criticize Israel's, call it what it is, blowing up women and children, as a method of warfare, and say, hey, because my whole thing when I first started it was, we always hear about how America, we have the moral high ground.
Mm-hmm.
We're the peacekeepers of the world. So why are we killing women and children? It's not traditional warfare. That came from World War I and World War II. That was essentially unheard of in most Western wars. Civilians were. And now it's just, we flattened entire areas, entire cities.
And the whole time we did it, we were saying we weren't doing it.
Yeah. And then finally, when the rubble pile is too big to ignore, we'll say the terrorists were hiding there.
Yeah.
And I just, for me, a big thing is ideological consistency.
Right.
I've always been anti-war. I was turned on to the issues with government during 9/11. I was pretty young. I think I was a sophomore or junior in high school at that time, but I wanted to understand how does something like this happen? and I started to learn, and learned little by little. And, I saw the horrors of the Iraq war and of the Afghanistan war. And a lot of kids I grew up with either never came home or they never came home the same, physically, mentally, spiritually, or otherwise. So I've always been very anti-war. I didn't support the Ukraine war. Nobody called me anti-Ukrainian. So I just learned to accept it for what it is, really. I was also called a grandma killer.
Yeah.
During COVID.
All of us were.
I was called racist during BLM.
Yeah.
And now it's now it's just the next thing. But the people who know me know best. Some of my best friends are Jewish.
Do you feel like
the whole reason I was able to buy the gym, I came up about $10,000 short, and one of my best friends who's Jewish handed me the money and said, "Pay me back whenever you get a chance." So it's never about Judaism, but I refuse to sit by idly and have my name attached to something as an American, because that is something that I'm very proud of. I am very proud of being an American. I believe in the ideas and the values of America. I'm all in on it, in fact. And the fact that my tax dollars play a part in blowing up women and children, I'm just not okay with. And if that comes with losing friends, if that comes with losing contracts, because I lost two, being called names, then that is what it is, because I'm ideologically consistent, and to me, the only thing that matters above all is the truth. Yeah, bro. And the truth can't change according to what you want it to be that day of the week. Truth is universal. It's not a subjective thing. It doesn't change. It doesn't ebb and flow. War is bad. Killing women and children is bad. You can't be pro this war and anti this war because your cast of characters lines up appropriately on one side, and the evil, radical terrorists that you don't know jack about. The average American has no idea about anything in the Middle East, how even any of these countries came to exist. But all they know is we're American, we're conservative, Israel's our greatest ally. And I'm just not willing to go along with that.
Why do they say that? Because that's very clearly not the truth.
It's the result of decades worth of money and propaganda.
When you ask somebody who's,
because they have to say
it's not just that, bro. They really believe it. And when you say to someone, okay, well, what have they actually done?
Or what's the definition?
They can't give you.
They'll give you the Ben Shapiro answer, which is they share military intel, they share military technology, they share medical technology, and they're the closest thing to a democracy in the Middle East, and they're America's closest ally. That's the best answer you'll get.
That's not a real answer.
No, it's not.
Because first of all the technology comes from us to them, back to us.
The money and the technology. Yes. Yeah. And you said this to me. Allies fight alongside each other.
Yeah, they never fought in one single war with us.
Going back to Vietnam and Korea.
I know.
They blew up our ships.
I know.
We've got allies that barely have any troops that in all of these conflicts have sent boots on the ground as a show that, hey, we are with you.
We might not have much, but
if you're my ally, I expect you to bang out with me.
Yeah.
If
well, and then, also it's interesting too. And, I don't even think most Jewish people really consider this, but it's also interesting how it's okay to intentionally import all different kinds of people and call diversity the best thing ever, but they don't believe that, because if they did, they would be bringing in diversity in their own country.
They would be practicing it.
So I mean, practicing ethnic cleansing next door.
That's what I'm saying. So at some point, people have to wake up and say, well, what they're saying is good for us. They're not practicing. So why are they not practicing what they say is good for us? It's because it's not good for us.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not a good thing to import criminals from third world countries. This is not a race thing either.
And even just different cultures in mass.
Well,
there are some cultures that just work better next door neighbors.
Let me ask you this.
Than like blended all together.
Let me ask, that's white supremacy. No, because there's black Americans too, and there's Latino Americans and all those are Americans. So there's people say, well, you guys are against diversity. No, we're not, because we're all for the legal immigration process. And the legal immigration process makes you do what, Madat? Doesn't it make you learn all about America and American culture and history and all those things? Isn't that the point? Now, Zishan, didn't you have to learn all those things? Like when you came from India, didn't you have to learn all about America and cultures and what we do here and what our history is to even become a citizen? So why, if we're white supremacists or whatever, why is it white people, black people, and Latino people, Asian Americans, and all these other races that agree with that statement, but only white people are told they're white supremacists about it, right? And then on top of it, we all support legal immigration, which is the integration of people of different shades and cultures, and as long as they come here and they're going to buy into our culture. So the only logical conclusion that can come from that is that they're trying to intentionally ruin the culture, which clearly we all know they are. But it's interesting to me how many people don't see that and don't understand why that's so damaging, and then realize that the people that are propagating it are from a tiny little speck of a country on the other side of the world that do not practice that same thing. Yeah. And by the way, I don't think most Jewish Americans are even aware of that. Like, I don't think that they're that plugged into what's going on.
Most people are horribly unaware of most things. Yeah. Even when it does kind of hit home, you know what I mean? But that's one of the most interesting things is like, imagine if you went to India and, got there, whether legally or illegally, and all you did when you got there was talk shit about India and how much it sucks. Yeah. And you didn't assimilate at all. And
demand that they pay for all my shit.
And demand that they bow to your culture. That
otherwise you're a bigot.
Yeah. Yeah. White people are the only people who are not allowed to say, whoa. You're here. You got to follow our rules and guidelines and our values and our traditions, because this is this is America. We made this, and granted, it's a lot more colorful and diverse than it was at one point. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but whites aren't allowed to say, hey, stop coming here and demanding that we respect your culture. That's racist. No. But if you go anywhere else, you try that in South Africa.
Hold on. We are allowed to say that. We are absolutely allowed to say that. We don't understand that the reason that we are attacked and told we are bigot is because they're actually trying to take our culture. It's a weaponization of language.
Yes, we are absolutely, and we should absolutely say that. But so many people feel like they can't because they'll be labeled a bigot, they'll be labeled racist.
It's just not true. That's not true.
And even if you are,
we talked about this when Billy was on the show.
I was about to say that, but this is the other piece of that too, though. It's not even just that isolation of that piece of the conversation. The other thing that they did strategically, very smartly on their piece, but they also got all the other different cultures within America to hate America first.
Yeah.
So then you're really isolated. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go to majority black people, I mean, again, we saw it with Billy, bro. Like, there's a lot of people in this country, born in this country, that hate this country.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So then you isolate the idea of patriotism to one group.
Yeah, you've made loving America like white.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not innately a white thing at all. It shouldn't be.
Western society is the only culture that has to bet that is being forced, and you see it all through Europe, Eastern and Western Europe, and you see it all through North America, you see it in Canada as well, that people feel and are told that they are not allowed to have a problem with immigrants coming, legal or otherwise, and demanding that they don't have to assimilate.
Right.
That they don't have to at least follow the values and guidelines.
Well, that's because that's in their interest and against ours.
Yeah.
And, that's I mean, it's very simple. Like if you go up to someone and you say, hey, I'm going to punch you in the balls, and they say, well, if you say that, you're racist. And then they learn to just not say anything. You're going to punch them in the balls as much as you can.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's we have to understand that this is weaponization, and we have to call it for what it is. I mean, it is racism. It is racism. It's not reverse racism. It's racism.
Just racism.
Yeah. And, I've never, my whole life, I said this when Billy was on, as a quote unquote white dude, I've never been able to say, hey, I'm proud to be a white dude. And because of that, I've never based my identity in being a white guy. Like, I've always based my identity on who the I am on the inside, which personally I believe is how it should be.
Sure.
I think that's how everybody should be.
And you can have both. You can be,
but we're being
proud of your genetics. There's
Yeah,
absolutely nothing wrong with being proud.
Yeah, but we're being forced to like take a position on it.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To like even exist. And it's sad, bro, because I could very clearly see the anti-white bias, and I struggle with like talking about it because I don't think that's not how I see the world. But I also observe it, and I'm like, man, like
it's an interesting position.
Yeah,
it's because you're right, because what they want, they don't want healthy tribalism, because there's nothing wrong with healthy tribalism. Mm-hmm. You're white, I'm white, you're black, I'm India. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being proud of your ancestral heritage, with thinking that you like your culture the best. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's nothing hateful about that. Everybody should be proud of where they've come from, and everybody should respect their ancestral heritage and want to propel that line forward in the world. That's how you leave your mark on the world. You leave your mark by pushing the culture and standard forward, and that can be related to your genetics. It doesn't have to just be that. That's good and healthy tribalism. That's how cultures flourish. That's why you have diversity.
That's what makes this country.
That's why you have so many different people in the world.
Nobody says that Japan can't be Japanese. No one says that China shouldn't be China.
Exactly.
But and no one says Africa shouldn't be Africa. No one said. But when it comes to white people, everybody says that that's wrong.
Yeah.
So like, why? Like at some point, we have to say what the problem is if we want to fix it. And like, dude, it just sucks because like,
they're forcing that bad tribalism,
bro,
where it's
I don't like it.
Where it's I'm white, I hate anybody who's not
and I'm
white.
I'm seeing so much of that come around now.
I
see more of that than I've ever seen in my entire life.
The algorithm is pushing it your way, and it's pushing it everybody else's way.
I just don't like it, man, and I don't think it's right.
I get a lot of flack for that all the time. Because I'm popular among from the farther right, we'll call it. And a lot of those people are white nationalists, and my son is half Filipino.
Yeah.
So like, if you guys don't accept that, you're
That's
not
what I'm saying.
You're
bro.
not the same as me, because I am still a proud white man.
Yeah.
But I'm also proud to have a half white, half Filipino, beautiful little boy.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely nothing you can do to make me feel any different.
Yeah.
And that would go if he was Filipino or anything else.
Yeah.
And that's that good tribalism. I'm proud that he's got white ancestry. I'm proud of where my grandparents came from, and my parents and my great grandparents. And I'm also proud that he has a whole nother aspect of his history of really cool. They got great food.
Yeah.
All sorts of cool stuff.
Great culture, bro.
And so it's good tribalism versus bad tribalism. They don't want the good. They want the bad, because they want the clash that comes with that.
Yeah.
I hate anything that's not exactly me.
Yeah. I really think it's important for everybody to understand that we're being highly manipulated intentionally. And I just feel like I don't want to pour into that. You know what I mean?
The conservative movement is ripe with it. Even the NPC normie conservatives. I mean, look at how many videos that they will show, and it does happen. And the statistics are there. Black on white crime. That's undeniable. But that doesn't really paint the whole picture. But you will have conservative accounts. Like I said, even the normie conservative accounts will harp on race relations between black and white people because a black kid beat up a white kid.
Yeah.
And instead of just looking at it for what it is,
that guy was a piece of shit.
Bro.
Yeah.
Exists.
And then, you have the left, which will cover for it because they won't say the individual is black.
Right.
Because they don't want to do that. Yeah. But then the right will go, look, you didn't say he's black. And they're missing both sides are completely missing the point.
Yeah.
Is that something
they're playing into it?
Yeah. Both sides are completely guilty of it. Completely.
It's frustrating, dude, because like, you know, I don't know, man. I've just never seen the world that way. And I don't think it's right I think it's a very low IQ thing to, you know, we're here in America, bro. Like, I don't know. I think it's a very low IQ thing to judge someone based upon the color of their skin. I think it's literally ridiculous. But, you know, when we get to a point where entire cultures are told they have no culture, they don't deserve to have culture, they don't, you know, everything about their
history is bad, evil,
yes,
malicious.
Yeah, that's not true. And dude, like, quite honestly, I'm a very tolerant human, and I'm getting to the point where I'm tired of hearing it.
Yeah.
You know?
And people are very much along with that. One of my most popular tweets in the past 2 years was, I love being white.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to all understand.
And that was just me just literally just joking around.
Yeah.
But I also do love being white.
Yeah.
But the response from both sides got it horribly wrong. There was the right wing, you know, nationalists.
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah. And I'm like, wait, just made, you know, I don't post pictures of my son for other reasons, but you guys would not be happy.
Yeah.
And then there's people on the left, and then his eyes are a little slanted.
Well, it's sunny down there in Florida, bro.
The people on the left think that's like the worst statement I could have ever said.
Yeah.
When it's me just saying, hey, I like being a white guy, which I do.
Yeah. Listen, dude, you don't know any different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, what, you can't be proud of who the f- you are? You know what I'm saying? When, you know, like, it is what it is.
Either we all can be proud of who
or
we are.
Simply said.
That's it.
Simply
Or-
said.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Nobody's gonna be proud of who we are.
I think we should honestly, dude, like, real talk, I think we should hold the people accountable who are creating the intentional division.
sure.
We should understand that we are being intentionally propagated against each other on a very low IQ argument, which is race. And I think that we all have to be disciplined and not let our emotions be manipulated to become part of the problem, and instead be part of the solution. And part of the solution is, hey man, I don't really give a what color your skin is. If you're cool, you're cool. If you're with me, you're with me. If you're an asshole, you. Like, that's how we should be looking at the world. But the world is not allowing people to do that, and it's to our detriment. And so I think, like, as emotional as it is, I think it's still very important for everybody to remember, like, we can't play into this, bro, because only bad things happen from it. You know,
it's the manipulation of energy. Think about how much time and energy people spend on that instead of focusing on or educating themselves about the overarching issues.
Yeah.
You know, all the time and energy that's spent on race wars, you know, made up, you know, fabricated race wars.
They keep trying. Like, I saw this shit. I'm not to cut you off.
No,
I saw
you're
this
good.
shit about Derek Chauvin being
that'll be a hot topic soon.
Yeah, but like it came up, and it's like everybody, oh, Trump's, you know, they're having meetings with the National Guard and all of that. And it's like, people are so stupid to even, like, if you look at, like, bro, the vast majority of the charges Derek Chauvin had were state level charges. Trump can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's got nothing.
He can't fucking do anything
nothing
about
to do with it.
And so, like, you got people on the internet that are, like, intentionally pushing that narrative, which is absolutely not true. Even if Trump pardoned the federal crimes, Derek Chauvin's still gonna be in prison for life, bro. Like, he ain't coming out. You know what I'm saying? But, like, you got people that push that narrative to stir up this race, and, like, they're like, it's so frustrating to see that, bro, because it's like, it never fails, like that, like, for whatever reason, bro, like, it never fails that, like, people, like, that's what we resort to at all times. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's always at a point too where, like, I feel like we're moving as a country where we start to get that stride and come together in unity and be like, all right, yeah, we're realizing who the real enemies are, and they shake that jar. Derek Chauvin's getting pardoned. It's like, shut the fuck up, man. No, he's not. Like, he's not.
well, I mean, if we're being honest, he should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask me if he should. I
but he's
say
not.
absolutely,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
there's not a chance because Tampon Tim's not going to let him out. That's Tampon Tim's decision. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so stupid, man.
Mushmouth.
Yeah, man. I'll do that. Roxy.
There's no chance that guy's not a closet homosexual.
Oh, bro, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, he's not even closeted, bro. He's in the living room. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not.
He's answering the front door.
I'm just saying. I actually I don't even get homosexual. It's not homosexual. It's. I get pedo vibes.
I do get pedo vibes.
Yeah, and then like you watch him grab his kid and shake his kid and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, bro, what the fuck are you
It's
doing?
the hand for me, bro.
Well,
because like I mean, it's statistically like anytime the wrist forearm make the 90-degree bend,
yeah,
like flag. That's a clue. You know what I'm saying? You
well,
gotta
I
be
mean,
careful
look,
about
I don't
it.
have a problem with people being gay.
Oh, same.
But like, don't pretend you're not.
But don't say it.
Anyway, all right, let's get to the end here, man.
Finish it out, man.
Shit, here's the bottom line: be cool.
Yeah. Just be
Remember that you're being manipulated.
Be proud of who you are.
That's right, and stick up for yourself. Don't let people stomp on your face. Them, and you know, good people won't do that to you. Bad people will, because they're trying to get something from you.
cool.
They're trying to take something from you. So, you know, if you start to hear that, bending for it, and just say, "Hey, man, I ain't about that. F off." You know, like that doesn't make you a racist. That makes you somebody with boundaries, that you're not going to take shit for something that someone else is trying to guilt you on or gaslight you on to get something from you. Like, f off.
Bullshit, man.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. Guys, jumping on the conversation. Let us know what you guys think. With that being said, let's get to our final segment of the show. As always, guys, we've got thumbs up or dumb as fuck. And I had to bring out my nerdy side a little bit today, so I apologize in advance. It is what it is. But this is where we bring a headline in. We talk about it to get one of those two options. So let's go to Purdue University. Okay, Purdue University. Purdue ECE students shatter Guinness World Record for fastest puzzle cube solving robot. All right, now stick with me, fellas. All right, I get it. It's a little nerdy.
Rubik's Cube?
Oh, yeah, I can solve one.
I said, is this for Rubik's
Rubik's
Cube?
Cube. Oh, yeah.
Why are
yeah.
they calling it a puzzle cube?
I think copyright or something like that, maybe. I don't know.
They don't have the rights to it.
You talk about another problem in the world, man. You can't do anything without these lawyers getting involved.
Dude, there's too many lawyers.
What's wrong with you guys?
Yep.
You guys are assholes.
Yeah, it's too many lawyers. But yeah, so solving a Rubik's Cube is a challenge for most people. For a team of students from Purdue University's Elmore Family School of Electrical and Computer Engineering, it became an opportunity to redefine the limits of speed, precision, and automation and officially make history. Meet Purduebics Cube, a high-speed robotics system that now holds the Guinness World Record for fastest robot to solve a puzzle cube, clocking in a jaw-dropping 0.103 seconds. That's faster than the blink of an eye. Nearly 3 times faster than the previous official record of 0.305 seconds set by Mitsubishi Electric.
How is that
Engineers.
possible?
Dude, I don't know. I got the video.
Yeah, that's let's.
And dude, I'm telling you, it's
is it a picture?
It
A
is
0.1
wild.
second video.
It is wild,
Is it like one turn off?
bro. Check this out. So here's a clip. Now look, they're gonna play it in slow mo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we slow that down a little bit?
Watch this, bro.
It's off.
That's bullshit.
Bro, no.
That's a different video. No way. Bro, the Rubik's Cube can't even move that fast. It'll blow the apart.
That's what I was gonna say, because there's so many turns in that 0.1 second. I mean, that's probably 20 some rotations.
No, bro, that's real.
And
No way. Bro, if that's real, that's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
yeah, that's
Okay,
yeah,
all right,
that's,
we're nerding out a little
yeah,
bit.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Cool,
Because like,
man.
it has to not only make the turns, but it has to make all the turns in a almost infinitely short amount of time.
Like you can't make a wrong one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If one of those turns is off, it's going to extend the time.
Bro, I had
Probably
a
only by like 0.00.
I had a dude last
seconds,
night
but-
on the call argue with me about some shit. Or not on the call. We were on DMs. Argue with me about. I asked. He said, "Oh, bro, there's no way. Like, in the trades are protected from AI and robots. And dude, you're crazy. And this, really, go watch that video.
Yeah, you ever see the robots that paint the rooms?
You ever seen the ones that do the roofs and the tile.
Yeah.
Or lays tile 3 times as fast and 10 times better. And this is today, not
3 years from now.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
No, that's cool. That's
all right. You got
Wait, hold on, go back.
That's super impressive. Yeah, I missed it.
I want to see the picture of the guys.
Oh, this is the guys. Zishan, you know him?
You know that dude? It's on his second shift at 7-Eleven.
Well, those guys are too smart. But the problem is they get 0 putang. Guaranteed.
I don't know.
Guaranteed.
They'll be getting some when they're billionaires.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeff Bezos didn't either for most of his life.
Yeah, that's
and,
true.
You know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Elon's not having any issues. That's true. Yeah, that's pretty cool, though,
Yeah, it's also very disturbing.
man.
I seriously had a dude argue, like passionately arguing with me. He's like, "You really think it's coming for the trades?" I'm like, "Dude,
it's coming for everything, bro.
You're not paying attention, bro."
Bro, that's crazy.
I try to tell people this.
You're not even going to be able to get a pizza delivery job, bro.
I tried to tell people this years ago, and they were like, "Dude, you're crazy." Blah, blah, blah. Now it's here, man.
Yeah.
In the form of a Rubik's Cube.
Well, what we got on this?
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that is badass. Though. That is badass. Just don't turn it into a weapon, please.
Yeah,
Well, they will. Listen, enjoy the time we got.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's real, man. All
right.
Well, guys, Ian, Andy, that's all I got.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Been a pleasure.
Yep. Good to see you, bro.
Absolutely, man.
All right. Don't be a hoe.
Share the
Share the show.
Hey.